What's going on, guys? I recently made some pretty awesome confetti themed Twitch panels for my Twitch stream. They look like what you're seeing on the screen here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create these Twitch panels within Photoshop. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can download them and set them up on Twitch for free. Alright, the first thing I want to discuss when creating Twitch panels is the sizing for your Twitch panels. Currently, I have my canvas set to 300 by 300 so that I can have a square image for a more unique and, I guess, attention-grabbing panel. And I have two panels that are slightly bigger than the rest. This one here is Buy My Merch. It's a 300 by 300. I did that in order to add in merchandise that I have on the store, so people have an idea of what merchandise that I have available, and they can decide whether or not they actually want to click on that panel. Same with that, I have another one here called Watch My Guides. It's a link to the Francois Gaming channel where I create short how-to guides for gaming. I might change this in the future if I decide to start creating different content, but currently this is the panel that I have available for that. The rest of the panels are sized to 300 by 100. So if we go in here and go to image, go over to canvas size, and we change this to pixels and set the height to 100, it should fit the specs right into that panel. So everything else will fit right into that 300 by 100 panel, and that's what's going to be available in the download on my website if you want to download these. So first things first, when creating this panel, we got to create the text that we want. The text that I use for these panels is called Road Rage. It's a completely free texting font. It's actually something that I found back in one of Nerd or Die's super old stream overlay designs. It's like an 80s theme. It had some saber effects and that sort of stuff on it. So Road Rage is a free font that I actually found from Nerd or Die. So the first thing we need to do is create a new layer. So go ahead and create your new layer, and then obviously I'm going to go ahead and create a text and put it on the screen there. You want to make sure that you have the text at 46 point for this specific video, and then for the font style we want that on regular. So the panel I'm going to show you how to create is going to be a panel that gives me credit for the panels that I've created, something that you guys can use on your channels if you want to link people to my channel for giving you these panels. So what I'm going to name it is credit, and then I'm going to go ahead and center that text. The next thing I want to do is, again, make sure I have the text tool open. I'm going to click on this icon up here, which is going to be a warped text, and we're going to set the style over to flag. Then we're going to adjust the bend to -6, and we're going to hit OK. This is just going to give it a slight bend that we need to create that style that we want. Now, if I double click on this layer, it's going to bring up the layer style. Within the layer style, one of the things we need to create is a text stroke. The text stroke, we want it set to white. Go ahead and hit OK on that. And we want to set the size to 5 pixels. After we've done that, we can go ahead and create an outer glow. In the outer glow, we want to make sure the technique is set to precise instead of soft. We'll change the size to 6 pixels. We're going to adjust the contour for this. It's going to be on this one here. We're going to change it to this contour. And then you're going to set the range to 65% and the jitter down to 0. You also want to make sure the blend mode is also set to normal. After we've set the outer glow, we'll go ahead and create a drop shadow. This will create some depth of field for that panel. We're going to again set this blending mode to normal. We'll set the opacity to 42%, the distance to 15, the size to 13 pixels. Make sure you have that angle at 50 degrees and go ahead and hit OK. After you've done that, we're going to pull in a file to mask on top of this to create that color. Again, that file, that texture file, is linked in the description below. Once you've opened that texture file, it's going to be a nice kind of wavy, colorful gradient image. It's going to be a little bit more dull than what you see on the screen here. So what you can do is go in and add some saturation, adjust the lightness, the darkness, whatever you want to do, get it a nice look that you want. I added in a smart filter on it that created a hue or saturation. So I simply just added saturation to it to make it a little bit more vibrant. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and right click on this layer, and what we're going to do is create a clipping mask that will mask it onto that text layer. So you need to make sure you have this layer above the text layer that you just created. I'm going to go ahead and change this to gradient because it's not texture, it's a gradient. Now that we have the text there, we can go ahead and add an actual texture to this layer. The texture I'm using is a brush stroke that I got from a texture pack. And what I'm going to do is, yet again, I'm going to create a clipping mask so that it's just layered on top of the text there. The last thing I need to do is add in a nice lighting effect. And again, this is something that I got from another texture pack. It's going to be a flare. So I'm going to add that flare in. This is what the flare looks like. And yet again, I'm going to go ahead and create a clipping mask. This will just give a nice little brightness to the top of that text. The next thing we're ready for is adding in the actual confetti. This is what the confetti looks like originally when I upload the file. What you'll notice if we take a closer look here is we have some confetti pieces that are faded and have the appearance of being further away from us, and then we have some confetti pieces that are in the foreground and would appear closer to us within that image. So the confetti is how we really nail this depth of field trick within our Twitch panels. The first thing I'm going to do for this confetti is actually create a drop shadow. This is going to be foreground confetti, so the actual shadows are going to be at a further distance from what we see, and these are what we are going to use on top of our panel image. So I'm going to create a drop shadow for these. I'm going to put the size to 9. I'm going to put the distance at 3 pixels because it's going to be fairly close with the shadow in front of our text. Alright, so I'm going to hit OK on that. The next step in this process is creating a layer mask. And we can do so by clicking this button down here. Now we can open up our paintbrush and do some really creative things. We're going to erase everything that's outside of the actual text itself. So we don't need anything out here. And this is really cool with the layer mask. You can paint black over these images and it will appear to be erasing them. So we're going to go ahead and erase everything that's on the outside. After we've done that, we're going to go in and erase all the faded confetti images, because in this specific scenario, all the solid images will be on top of our text and the faded images will be behind because they're in the background, they're faded, they're further away. And the ones in the foreground are going to be solid, crisp looking images. So we can go ahead and get rid of this faded one here. It looks like there's a faded one in between these two. So I'm going to go ahead and get in here and erase that. And it looks like this one here is faded as well. So now if we back up on this image, it looks like we have about 5 pieces of confetti on top of our text. Now I'm going to add in another layer of confetti, except for it's going to be the background confetti. And same thing we just did, we're going to erase everything on this here that is a solid piece. So what we want are the faded pieces to be in the background. And then another trick here, guys, is make sure that you don't have any pieces along the edge here or going over the edge, as that will be, you know, not a very good look on the end result. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I erase anything that we don't need, and then we're going to position it in a cool way. Looks as if there's a solid piece right here. Awesome. And again, guys, you want different variations between each one of your panels, so make sure you don't have the same exact position with the confetti and that sort of thing. Or whatever idea that you create, just make sure, you know, you adjust the positioning, you know, adjust, you know, switch it up so each one has a little bit of variety. Now we're ready for the overall foreground confetti. Again, we're going to add in another confetti layer. And again, guys, these are going to be these solid pieces that are going to be on top of and you know, a little bit more distance from the confetti we just did a minute ago that was directly on top of the text. So for this one here, what we're gonna do, yet again, I've already done it, is erase all the blurry images, right? And then in this specific one, on the drop shadow, I made the distance 7 pixels so that they appear to be at a further distance or closer to us on the image. So that's a very unique trick, and this is what the end result looks like. Now this is completely ready to go and ready to be uploaded onto Twitch. Make sure you create a panel for every single panel that you need. In the description below, I will link the texture pack that I got all of these files from so that you can incorporate the same exact confetti file, the same exact flare, the same exact texture from the brush stroke, and the same exact gradient into this image if you want to create these panels for yourself. The texture pack is $8. It's a great way to support another creator who created it. I obviously can't give you someone else's work for free. Unfortunately, I pulled these textures from someone else. So if you're interested in those files, make sure you grab them using the link in the description below. That's going to complete this tutorial, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you learned something from this video, or if you just enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Again, guys, if you do want this pack for free, you can go to my website. If you do choose to support me, it would be greatly appreciated. You can put any price you want to in that checkout, anywhere from $5 to $100. It doesn't matter. If you just want to show your support to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Speaking of support, my Patreons, I want to thank you guys so much for pledging month to month, supporting what I do. I've recently updated the Patreon benefits. If you guys are interested in becoming a Patreon and getting some free merch, getting thank yous in my videos and that sort of stuff, check out the link in the description below to my Patreon and check out some of the benefits on those tiers. If you guys need any support with creative stuff, graphic design, video editing, any sort of thing like that, we do offer that kind of support within my Discord and Guilded servers, which are both linked in the description below. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you next time. Peace.